This book was a real tragedy. I'm reading The Children of Huron by J.R.R. Tolkien, edited by Christopher Tolkien, I believe published posthumously. It also has illustrations by Alan Lee. I also want to say thanks to my friend Jared for gifting me this book. Now this is the story of Middle-earth, long before The Lord of the Rings, in a time called the Elder Days. In plain English, it's sort of like if The Lord of the Rings was 2000 AD, the Elder Days would be 2000 BC. One of the most helpful parts of this particular book is this map. It's very, very helpful to know where you are, because Tolkien writes of them traveling all over the place. This whole land doesn't exist in modern Middle-earth. In fact, it was all swallowed up by the sea. So the Middle-earth that we encounter with the hobbits is a very different one than this one. Our story begins with Turin, rather his family line, and then leading to Turin, who's this brave adventurer who goes to fight in the evil lands to defeat the evil king. Said king destroys the envoy, but leaves Huron alive and curses him to sit in a throne facing towards his homelands and be motionless there, unable to speak, unable to die, only just to watch until doom falls upon his family. From this point, we follow the rest of his family. For a brief time, we're with Morwen, his wife, and Turin, his eldest son, as well as Urwen, his daughter, who is nicknamed Laughter. Evil winds come upon their land. Urwen dies, and it's left with the rest of the family. From this point, the bulk of the story follows Turin as he travels from their homelands and goes on a journey of growth. Now I say growth, but this is a tragedy, so doom is kind of the name of the game. It is, however, less bothersome knowing the story of The Lord of the Rings and how it eventually ends. Without that context, I would probably rate this book lower, but knowing the end of the story makes me rate this book at a base score of 4. On top of that, I would give it additional 0.3 points for character. Turin and his family are doomed. This doesn't make them any less likable though. They're highly distinct characters. There's very little sameness across the characters. You're pretty clear on who you're following. I would also add 0.2 for moral content. Doesn't have any negative language, but also doesn't have a lot of violent or sexual content. I would also add a 0.3 for story. Now it takes a while to get into the rhythm of this particular writing coming from a modern context. However, once you're there, it's a very captivating story. It's a solid book full of really quality writing. With that said, that brings our total score today to 4.8 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next week. Totally.